Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
We don't have any resemblance to a government that believes in a republic. We don't have honest money. We don't have integrity. We don't even have people in Washington that even pretends, that you're supposed to tell the truth. Remember just recently there was a congressperson that won, and he won by putting on his resume just a bunch of lies. and the other ones got hysterical. The other congressman telling lies like this. And I got to thinking, well, how many of these people that were complaining about this guy telling lies, how many of them lied when they raised their hand up and swore to uphold the Constitution? Now, that's a lie that really has consequences. Actually, you could probably make fun and make a little joke because his jokes weren't, everybody knew he was fibbing, but the real lies are being told, and that is our big problem. But I do believe there has been a coup, and it's been taken over. And if I want to just put the date in my mind. And anybody could pick probably any date in the last 100 years. But I have picked November 22nd, 1963.
What happened on that day?
That was the day Kennedy was murdered by our government.
Wow.
By the CIA.
Yep.
And at the time, I remember matter of fact, Kennedy was killed in Dallas, but he landed at Kelly Air Force Base, and I was the flight surgeon there the day before, and I was aware of this trip. So this was a big a big thing, and those early years, which we talked about a lot, especially the first year or two. Oh, Oswald did it. Oswald did it, and then the person they talk about most is Allen Dulles as being the instigator of all this. And he, guess what? LBJ immediately said, we have to investigate this. The president has been assassinated. What? They never used the word coup. So he's been assassinated. So guess who he puts? There were 7 on the commission, and Dulles, Dulles was put on the committee to investigate it. So, but he was going to make sure they told the truth. It was a big farce, but that was a big day in history in my mind.
Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Change of plans today. Joe is stuck en route and cannot hop on. We're going to try and get him connected in for second half. We're not sure yet. So welcome. Welcome. Class is in session. And what you just watched was a 2023 interview with Ron Paul talking about the state of our government. There's been a coup. We don't have any resemblance to a government that believes in a republic. We don't have honest money. We don't have integrity. We don't have people in Washington who even pretend to tell the truth. And then he dates that back all the way to 1963 with the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which is interesting. I remember growing up, I was fascinated with the Kennedy assassination. Elementary school. The movie JFK came out. I didn't see the whole movie, but I saw parts of it. I'm not sure how, when, but I got really interested into the Kennedy assassination. And I even knew then that it didn't make sense that one person killed him with just watching that video. Now comes out later that, there could have been, the driver could have shot him now with this supposedly secretive, the real video that's out there. I don't know. But the bottom line is I was always intrigued then, not knowing what I know now, which is our government is complicit in everything. And we basically do live in a time of engineered misery. Like everything that we're dealing with today is a direct response to the policies implemented by our leaders that are selected through this machine that props up the machine and the agenda and stifles the American people and their voice and their rights. If you think about it, we're a shell of what we once were in this country. Right? This country was originally founded freedom of religion, merit-based, raising a family, right? Basically creating a structure of I can live my life in peace. You leave me alone, government. You don't come take from me. I'm not going to abuse you. You don't abuse me. But we create this balance where I live peacefully and am able to provide for my family. And that was a rallying cry that millions of people heard throughout the world when America was founded. And then we created a civilization here. We created America, right? We took everyone in. And there's arguments now. People are like, well, we're turning against our values, being we don't want immigrants here. No, the credence of coming to America, give me your tired, give me your broke, give me your downtrodden, right? Give me everyone coming here, right? It doesn't say give me everyone to come here so I could take care of them. It's yearning to be free coming here, right? Like we forget that part. People are coming here to be free. Right. And with that becomes the intrinsic motivation to become part of the nation that is giving you that liberty. But somehow, what our nation was founded on, that spark of revolution, that spark of independence, that spark of government, stop abusing me, stop taking from me, stop holding me down, basically the FU to the government, that has now been flipped on its head by our own government. And it's done because these leaders that have been put in place have not been put in place to reflect the will of the people, but actually to reflect the will of the bigger machine behind it, which is crippling the American folks. And everyone can feel it every day. We talk about it on the show every day, but every day, people that you just look at the exasperation on people's faces. People are tired. People are frustrated. People are annoyed. People are concerned about their retirement. People concerned about where their kids are going to go to school and what's going to happen to their kids, the indoctrination of their kids. People are concerned about the safety in their neighborhoods. When you have judges that are consistently releasing repeat criminal offenders on the street, that guess what? Oops, they reoffend. But we're not allowed to talk about that. And those judges aren't allowed to be held accountable for that because they have immunity. They just sit up there in their ivory tower and just pick and choose who's let out of jail, who's held in. And most of the time, the ones that are let out are the ones that are repeat offenders. The first-time offenders, the ones that commit white-collar crimes or just to make an example out of, those people become the sacrificial lambs. Right? If you think about it, everyone's talking about Fauci this, Fauci that. Fauci pled the fifth 111 times on, yeah, he did, because he knew, right? It was a disgrace. And people are like, well, it doesn't matter. He has a presidential pardon. Nothing's going to happen to him anyway. Not necessarily. If there's actually anything we could learn from the Tina Peters situation, presidential pardons are not respected at the state level. So what we actually need to have is a state attorney general with some nuts to start charging Fauci and all those other people that, quote unquote, got the auto pen presidential pardon. That's great. Your pardon of federal crimes across the board, great. Well, if it's a federal crime, chances are state crimes are going to be tied to it. So it's up to these state district attorneys that no one's talking about, no one's looking to implement, but these state DAs need to actually start going out there and doing the job and locking these people up that actually got these, quote unquote, pardons, because we are living in a lawless society. These people are allowed to do whatever they want. There's no consequences. I believe Trump even stated that he's going to respect the auto pen pardons, right? And it's simple because he's going to probably do the exact same thing out the door, right? So you got to keep the cartels got to keep pushing. Someone's got to break these cartel cycles. So we have 50 states. 29 of them, I believe, are Republican-led, Democrat. I forgot the split, but we need that. What's left of the Republican AGs, whoever has the willpower to actually start pressing charges on those that have not been charged by our federal government. Either change yourself, put the pressure on the local AGs in your state to, hey, let's look into this. But we're a shell of what we are because no one's ever held accountable. The only people that are held accountable are us, and we feel it every day. Inflation has not really cooled. Gas is about $4 a pop. And think about it. If gas was $4 a pop under the Biden administration. I remember seeing all those little stickers on the gas pumps where you drive around. They were funny as hell. I did that, right? Now look, 4 years later, it's not funny anymore, guys. We got to, no joke, maybe Trump needs a sticker. I don't know. But it's pretty sad where we are. It's pretty sad where we are, right? And we're a shell of what we once were. Everything that our country was founded on has been turned upside down on its head. We're more divided than we've ever been before. But at the same time, we're entertained as ever before. We're lulled to sleep. right? We have our food still, right? No one's starving in this country. All right, no, there's no poor. The fattest people in this country are the poor people, if you actually look around. It's amazing how that works, right? So you have that, you have your entertainment, you got sports going around 12 months a year, you got your podcast still online, you got X, right? You got all these other things that keep us entertained and distracted, not really seeing what's happening before our eyes. And in case you haven't noticed, DSA is infiltrating the Democratic Party. That side is completely sold out to one side. Our side has been completely sold out to another side. And then there's a majority of these two groups that come together and sell out everyone all the time, right? So it depends who we're talking about. Where we're going to now, we're going to talk about Buttigieg and what he's talking about and what he's looking to do if he comes into becoming the nominee for 2028 and all this fun stuff. Let's play cut 2.
And mouse, right? Whenever we figure out a way to make sure you can't hide all of your wealth or all of your income from being fairly taxed, very wealthy people will figure out some other place to hide it.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to develop a new policy to deal with that. But I guess my point is that's okay. Too often we have just hesitated to do anything, refused to do anything because it might be hard or because it might not last.
Yeah.
But if the idea that somebody will figure out a way around this law meant that you shouldn't have the law, that would be an argument against having any law.
Mm-hmm.
So it's messy. It's hard. But I am sure that if we had a more reasonable rate of taxation on capital gains and on corporate income, and if we made it harder to pass along wealth without, especially inherited wealth, without paying any taxes on it, or some of these other maneuvers like this borrowing thing you're talking about, we would have a fairer country because we'd still have capitalism. There'd still be lots of motivation and lots of reason to innovate and build a business and create jobs and do all the things that very wealthy people have done. And also, we would be out of this doom loop we're in where they're saying, well, we can't possibly have as good healthcare as other countries. We couldn't possibly do some fast trains here in the United States. We couldn't possibly have rural hospitals be properly funded or public education. Of course we can. This is the wealthiest economy in the world. It just doesn't add up that we can't have nice things. But if we aren't collecting a fair level of taxes, then of course we're going to come up short when we're trying to fund those things. And the biggest thing of all, that numerically that we're facing right now is this massive debt.
Listening to these people talk makes my blood boil. I don't know about you guys, but it really pisses me off. For the simple fact is they're morons. They're morons with a microphone that are kind of dictating where we're going as a country. All of what he said is anti-American. Everything he said is anti-American. Okay, we're talking about penalizing people for being successful. By the way, they always talk about paying your fair share. No one is yet to determine what is their definition of someone's fair share. I'm still waiting to hear that. What is their definition of fair share? And then what percentage of that fair share do they get to, where is it? How much is it? They never talk about it because the end game is to take all of it. That's why they never give specifics, because they can't give the specifics because they will tip their hand. What are they looking to do? They're looking to penalize any type of success in this country. They're not looking to reward individualistic achievement and entrepreneurship. They're looking to crush that spirit, and he says it right there. He's looking to actually hit the wealth tax when you're passing your wealth along to your younger kids. That's as anti-American as you get. You tax me when I make it. You tax me when I spend it. You tax me when I withdraw it. You tax me when I die. You tax me when I buy my house. You tax me every month on the property that I bought my house on. And then you're going to look to take more money from me after I die when I transfer my wealth to my child who deserves every penny of what I worked for to give to them. And the reason why people, quote unquote, hide their money is because you people come after every single dime that wealthy Americans make, all while supplementing third world migrants to the tune of $80,000 a year on the average American dime. So basically, you take the average American, actually, that's more than what the average American makes in a year, but that's what you supplement out to illegals coming into this country. How about you politicians actually tighten up our budget and everyone, Doge, notice how Doge went away real quick. Notice how there's no actual legislation codifying Doge cuts that could have saved hundreds of billions of dollars. None of that's happening. All this hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud that's being found every which way you look at. I just saw another one today out of my hometown, Flushing, Queens, New York. I'm sorry, Queens, New York, in Flushing. Not from Flushing, but I am from Queens. In Queens, New York, in Flushing, hospice care. Fraud uncovered again, right? All these millions of dollars that just is just fake, but you know where it really is real? At the end of the day, your mine wallet, your mine bank account, because we're the last one at the bottom. We're the one that actually gets the money sucked from us at every turn and never given back to us. I'm 6 months still waiting for my IRS refund check, by the way. Just saying. They're quick to say they held up my refund check for, I forgot, was it $5.12 or $12.50? It was some ridiculously small number. We took care of it. 6 months later, we still haven't got our refund check. But that's how government operates. Make sure they take every last dime from you before giving back what you overpaid over time. Right? Like it's the absurdity of our government. Everything our government does is a manufactured crisis that actually squashes the American people. Like everything they do, everything you experience, it's because of them. Like Joe talks about, the millstone on the chest, it's a real thing. They silence you, they deplatform you, they can debank you, they tax the hell out of you. If they don't like you, they start investigating you. It's simple. And they flaunt it too. It's real obvious what goes on. And everything that we feel, everything we experience, it's not for you to turn to me and say it's your fault or turn to that person and say, no, it's their fault. The collective up top that just does not care what is actually happening to the American people, because they're not there to do the bidding of the American people. They're there to do the bidding of their special interest and foreign interests that are funding their lavish lifestyles, which in turn leads to the destruction of the American way of life. And they sit up there and talk about like they care. They don't give two shits. They don't care at all. Maybe a handful, maybe 10, right? But they can't be too loud about it, because if you come out too loud about where you stand publicly with the American people and you actually want to have accountability, they come out with the scope. Primary you and take you out. It's happened recently. Happened recently, right? So it just shows you everything that's happening is purposely being done. It's not reactionary. It's not reactionary. It's all purposely being done. And we feel every bit along the way. Right? $4 for gas. Women in men's sports still. Indoctrination still going on in schools. Muslim prayer groups going on in public schools. Equity training's starting to heat up because we're going back to school in blue cities and blue states. I thought we were winning. What's really changed? What's really changed? What's really changed? We stopped the illegal migration at the border, but yet nothing is done legislatively to make sure it's permanent, right? So everything that's being done down there is quickly going to be undone with a pen, right? So pressure under the Biden administration, release the valve a little bit under the Trump administration, pressure, but right? We're always, no matter even if we win, we lose. The question is just how much. The question is just how much. And then they just flaunt it in front of you. How long was the last time anyone heard from, seen of Mitch McConnell? I'm not talking about the pictures online, right? Like his office still can't even give a clarifying statement of what happened to the senator. Is the senator alive? Nothing. Crickets. Why? Is it that hard to say if he's alive or dead? Is it really that hard to say it? I don't understand. Let's play cut 3. Here's his communications director, Stephanie Penn, being questioned about it.
Tell us what's going on with Senator McConnell. We haven't had any updates. Is he doing better? Do you by happen to know if he, or can you tell us, did he sign that July 28th letter, or was that an auto pen from your office. I know people in Kentucky are getting frustrated that they have missed over 46 roll call votes, so anything you can provide us on his current status, I think, would be greatly appreciated. Do you think it's fair that your office and the other staffers are still getting paid while Kentuckians go without representation? No comment to any of this? All right, thank you.
And they don't care because the cartel keeps pushing with silence. They don't care. They don't care. He's missed 46 votes. A medical emergency happened. No word anywhere. That's his comms director. She definitely understands what's going on with him. She's refusing to say anything. She just smirks, keep it moving, making her money. They don't care. And they live because of the money they take from us. They're supposed to be held accountable to us, but they know they're not. They know they're not. They know they're not. They know they are not accountable to us because they just go about their business, strutting and smiling. She's like, yeah, no, he's probably he's brain dead, but you know, I'm not going to tell you that yet. I'm just going to sit here, smile, keep on walking through the halls of Congress because they don't care about the American people. The ones that claim they serve only serve themselves, serve their foreign donors, serve their special interests, right? It's all the same. It's all the same. And think about it, us average Americans, we don't stand a chance. They talk about fundraising, this, that, and the other thing, right? I care about the American people, but I got to fundraise. And then the American Joe sends in $8 because that's what the average Joe can afford because everything's through the roof. Here you go, $8. And then the special interest cuts a check for 20 mil. Who gets the access? And they'll never pass legislation to outlaw foreign money like that. Never. They won't pass legislation on that. They won't pass term limits. They won't pass the insider stock trading. They won't pass the SAVE Act. They will pass nothing to prove to the American people that they're actually there to do the job for the American people. And then they'll smile about it, become rich about it, hold on to power forever about it, die in office, and then finally burn in hell. But they'll have the run here on earth for a little bit. And if you think about it, if you think about eternity, right? Eternity's forever. You know, suffering down here for 50 to 70 years ain't too bad if you do the right thing. These guys get to live high on the hog for this long, but you know, it's gotta be pretty hot where they're gonna go, right? Like it's been hot here in Colorado, man. Texas, it's been over 100. I'm like, ooh, that's hot. And I actually thought about this the other day driving home. I'm like, I don't really put the air conditioner on in my car unless my wife and kid are in there. I usually drive with the window down. I don't know why. I just do. And I just remember thinking the other day, I'm like, yo, it is hot. And I'm like, I can't imagine how hell must be. And then I think about all these ones that should be suffering down there, burning alive, well, burning in the afterlife. And it's not just occasionally, it's all the time. It's all the time. So you got to get a good run in on here, I guess, while you're here on Earth, if you know you're selling everyone out because you're going to be burning forever. That's one of my solaces, right? Lindsey Graham. Like, yeah. Mitch McConnell. It's nice to see the old timers getting out, though. It's nice seeing the old timers finally relinquishing power one way or the other. But, you know, everything we see is a lie. Everything is fake, except the actual pain we feel every day. How about the angel families that have to deal with their loved ones that have been killed because of illegal immigrants that have been in this country, that got driver's license, that are not allowed to drive, can't read the language, but yet get behind big wheels, big rigs, and plow into cars, killing people. Or Patty Fox's daughter, who was left on the side of a road because she was hit off the back of a motorcycle. She survived, but she's a quadriplegic. Right? And then also at the same time, you have illegals that come here, and we talk about this, the money, right? Buttigieg, we got to take from you, take from you, take from you. No. How about you just keep the money with us? How about we stop giving out foreign aid? How much money do we send overseas every year? And how about each state stop sending over foreign aid to countries as well? How about we stop doing that? How about we keep our money in-house? We can't do that because you make money off of that. So you can't do that. Instead, your only solution is to keep taxing the American people. It's never about actually reining in the spending or reining in the fraud or stopping the migration in. It's never about that. It's about literally crushing the middle class, crushing the ones that are trying to make it out of the middle class range because you can't have that. You don't want that to have because you got to cap on who's going to cross that threshold, and you're going to pick who's going to cross that threshold. That's why. It's un-American. And then there's the talking point out here now I saw online today, socialism is as American as it can get, I heard. I got to listen to the clip a little bit more, but I saw that and I almost threw up in my mouth. But yeah, all this is being done and we feel it. And there is no way you could tell me the American people support what's going on either side of the aisle. The approval rating in Congress is in the toilet. Honestly, the Trump approval rating isn't much higher than that. But yet, how do these congressional leaders continuously get selected if their approval collectively is in the toilet? It's simple. Stolen elections. It's simple. It is so simple. And here you go. We're gonna play a clip of Secretary of State Jena Griswold out here brags about the not turning over the voter rolls to the Trump administration. Let's play cut 4.
Since being elected to a second term, Donald Trump has doubled down on his efforts to attack our elections and democracy. There have now been 2 executive orders on elections during his second term, trying to grab power over elections. Luckily, they're largely losing. There's a big potential decision coming up next week on one of these executive orders that we hope we will win. His DOJ is suing many states across the country trying to get sensitive voter data. I told them to take a hike. Luckily, again, the DOJ is losing many of these cases. So we are seeing Trump weaponize the federal government against democracy.
Yeah, the same talking points, the same garbage, the same bullshit out of her mouth over and over again and out of every blue city and blue state leader's mouth. The voter rolls are under lock and key. No one can look under the hood. Once again, if the elections are so secure, why can't we check them? Why can't you cooperate with the federal government? And why does Trump tolerate this at this point? And, you know, honestly, it's time to actually just slap the blue cities and blue states and pull all their funding for being sanctuary cities and states and let it play out. Just let it play out. Just withhold their funding. Enough is enough. All we do is give. And they resist like nobody's business. They fight. Why do you fight transparency? Why do you fight turning over the voter rolls? Because they're dirty. That is the only reason. And I can't believe people still don't understand this. We've been having this fight for years now, 6 years. Put it to bed. But no one wants to put it to bed because this is engineered misery. This is engineered misery. Because nobody wants peace. No one wants this country to actually get its act together. Like we are literally getting eaten from within. And those that are in charge are completely fine with it. You know, I understand Trump's kind of doing what he can do on deportations and at the border, but you know, as far as like solidifying law and codifying immigration, it's not even a fighting point. No one's talking about how we're going to codify our immigration at the federal level. No one's talking about it because no one has an answer to it. The Republicans never have an answer to anything. They just want to be in opposition. This is why what we get. It's not that hard to fix stuff. All this shit could be fixed instantaneously. Boom. You stop funding everything across the board. We're $43 trillion in debt. We stop printing money. We freeze spending across the board going outside and we reinvest it inside. That's number one. That's me. You know, honestly, I was out of work for close to a year. Actually, fun fact. Today's my 1-year anniversary working with Joe. I made 1 year working with Joe. I walked in this door August 4th, officially hired by him. So this is my 1 year plug. Happy anniversary to me. So anyway, before getting hired by Joe, I was unemployed for a year. My wife was working her ass off, making money because I couldn't get a real full-time job. I was driving Uber Eats. I was doing 15, 20 hours a week at a sporting complex, coaching kids and doing the front desk work. But it wasn't enough to make the money. Were we going out? Were we spending more than what we were making? Simple answer was no. The simple answer was no. Because we couldn't. Because we weren't getting money from anywhere else. We couldn't just, go downstairs, hit print, hey, we need 10 grand, hit it off. No. But our federal government does this day in and day out, and they never feel the pinch. We're falling off a financial cliff because of their behaviors. And our election system is at the root of all of it. President Trump's been in for a year and a half, a little bit more. We need to start making headway here instead of just executive orders. Because nothing's ever going to change. Nothing's ever going to change. And I want to put this post up that Joe had about Scott Presler. Let's put up A4A. And the reason I want to put this up, it's going to be in the second part of this. Scott Presler is good at acting. I'll give him that. He's good at pretending. The theatrics are stunning. And he's also right. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Voter rolls allow for the database. The machines and mail-in ballots allow for the cheat. Scott has lost so many times because he really does nothing. Then he blames it on vote harder. There truly is no meaningful progress. But I want to point out that this is the point. Demoralization, hopium, and misdirection. It's not accidental, it's purposeful. We have been betrayed by a machine of Team Evil and Team Evil Light. Until we get rid of machines and mail-in ballots, vote in person with an ID counted at a local precinct level, we are finished as a nation. And we have leaders of states that refuse to cooperate with the federal government just to verify their voter rolls, to make sure the people that are on their voter rolls are alive, living in the state, and are citizens of this country. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. And the sad part is Democrats always decide about oversight and accountability, but yet they want no oversight or accountability when it comes to the election systems. They just hit me with, we're good, we're good, we're good. Meanwhile, time and time again, every time there's a glitch that happens or there's a voter issue that happens, it's happening in blue cities. It is blatantly obvious. And then when we had Peter on here on Friday talking about how the 2020 vote totals have changed consistently over the last 5 years out here in Colorado, every time he goes back in and look at it, different numbers for 2020, different number for 2020 again, right? The numbers are changing. Why? Because they're covering up the crime. They don't want the voter rolls being showed because they know that's one of the missing pieces here. Nothing's real. Except the pain we feel every day inflicted on by all our political leaders, top to bottom. And like I said before, if they're a good one, they're quiet about it, or there are a handful of them that fly underneath the radar. But honestly, what good ones are there? Where are they? I don't know. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part. I have no clue where a good one is anymore. Because they all play for themselves and they all play for their team. And their team is anti-anything that helps the American people. It's an us versus them. And we're on the shit end of the stick. And what do you do about it? I don't know, right? I get into these conversations all the time talking with coworkers here. Like, I don't know. People talk about, oh, we gotta go out there. Like, who are you gonna go yell at? Who are you gonna go get, right? Like, it's so hard because what difference is going to make? The moment you start getting at people in public, they're going to cuff you up and throw you in this, especially out here. Like, they're going to do it to you. You know, you could rape and peddle a child before you get locked up, but they'll get you if you go after one of their politicians out here. You know? And I'm not talking physically, I'm not talking violently. I'm just talking yip, 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 making it uncomfortable when they're in public spaces, right? They'll get you. Right? We have no recourse anymore. There's no way as Americans to actually get these people, to get the attention of them. They don't care. Micah talked about, you go into hearings. Like people that sign up to actually publicly testify, and I know other people that sign up to go publicly testify in front of these politicians where they're holding these public hearings and they're supposedly listening to their constituents. That's what they're doing when people are testifying about life experiences. And they don't care because the life experience that's up there testifying doesn't fit the narrative of what the majority of the state legislature wants. So they don't care. They don't care. You're a peasant. That's what they do. And speaking of peasants and how it works out here at the state level, right? Jena Griswold. And then you got to check this clip out. You got to check out what the Denver City Council is debating these days. Really, really, really important stuff being done out here. Let me tell you, with the murdering, with the crime, with the businesses fleeing Denver. I'm glad the city council's got their priorities straight. Let's play cut 5.
Think about like my family's history, and my dad was a migrant worker and grew up working in the fields. And so I see this, and I also think of an experience of Colorado and of what like my family has experienced. And I'm asking, was there consideration of expanding or broadening to be able to reflect that?
No, I think we thought about it in the same way that we did the land acknowledgement in terms of like foundational, like the foundational experience within this country. And so the labor being specific to those that were taken from Africa onto this continent, and that labor being forced.
Do you know of another city that names a perpetrator group? So like the phrase at the hands of white Americans. I know that there are a bunch of labor acknowledgments that talk about systems like white settler colonialism, but it doesn't talk about groups. Historically, the family of labor acknowledgments tend to talk more about systems instead of groups.
Yeah, so again, the language came from examples from all across the country that we had kind of put together. I would imagine that is probably uncomfortable, but in the conversations that we had, no one had pulled that out specifically to say, hey, can we look at this language and do something differently?
Yeah, baby. So the Denver City Council, in case you need to get a recap of that, is debating reading a slavery acknowledgement at the start of meetings, in addition to the land of acknowledgement. To talk about how terrible America is. That's what those people are discussing in Denver City Council meeting, right? That's Denver taxpayer money. That's what it's going towards. Make sure that's happening instead of all the other issues that are going on in Denver: homelessness, crime, sexual assaults, robbery, batteries. I just saw a video the other day, guy walking in downtown Denver at night with an AR on his shoulder outside of a building. That's normal. In Denver it is. You know, DP, you should really follow Do Better Denver. That guy really does great, guy or girl, don't know who, really does great work exposing how the Denver government covers up all the bullshit that they try and push out in front of people, that how great Denver's doing when the underbelly is really, really not looking so hot. Denver's financials aren't looking so hot. Safety's not looking so hot. The police are actually ending shifts early to share patrol cars because they don't have enough mechanics in the shop to fix the patrol cars. So that's happening, right? So it's just a hot mess out here in Denver, but yet we got to make sure that's important up there, making sure that we get the slavery acknowledgement part read correctly and written correctly and read correctly before our city council meetings. That's real important. And we also got to make sure we blame white Americans for everything, right? Let's make sure we don't skim over that. We need to make sure white Americans are blamed for everything. Once again, this is the purposeful push to destroy America, all engineered by design. You get people like this that have been programmed since birth because they've been indoctrinated through the school system with the racist rhetoric that white people are the problem of this country. White people have caused the enslavement of the black people. All this stuff that leads to equity, that leads to the actual, I believe, beginning of race wars. Like, there is no way that I don't think this ends other than race wars at this point. Because if you're a white person and you refuse to acknowledge this, or you just say, I love this country, they see you as the enemy. So how can you survive in a country that is being controlled by this political idea? And this political idea is not being rooted out, mind you. It's not. Sorry. It's not being rooted out anywhere, mind you. It's not. It's not being rooted out. It's actually being allowed to fester and to flame up. No one's doing anything about this type of jargon. These people are... Yeah, but guess what? The preaching is still going on. The beating to the drum is still happening. Nothing's being done to stomp these little ashes or these little burnt ends out, because they're not. They're actually fanning up and spreading. They're actually fanning up and spreading because no one's confronting this and no one's doing anything about these people. It's allowed to continue. And once again, I bring it back to yesterday. Like, at what point is it terrorism when it leads to overthrowing the way of life of people here and blaming white people for a crime? How is it not terrorism? Why is it not terrorism? Really got to start thinking about it, because we need to understand what's coming down this beaten path. It will be terrorism. Their language tells you. No one's doing anything to stop it. These city councils, these organizations are passing laws that legitimately put their cities at risk. Prime example, I live in Aurora out here in Colorado, and a friend of the family had an issue, was actually meeting in X for a custody exchange in the parking lot of where a police station is in Aurora. There's no one working at the police station. There's no one working in the police station. She needed help. They went there and they could not get in. They called dispatch. Dispatch told them that station is closed. We live in that neighborhood. I had no idea the dispatch, it was not a actual functioning police station. So what it's actually used for, cops come in, change, get in the patrol car, go out. That's it. There is no one actually physically at the police station to actually help when it's needed. My wife and her friend had to wait 30 minutes for the police to actually show up when they were in the parking lot of a police station. And mind you, it was a custody issue, and the child in issue is a special needs child. 30-minute response time before the cops even showed up. Okay? But let's let this nonsense keep going on instead of actually addressing the real issues here, which is you allow morons like the Denver City Council, Aurora City Council, Griswold. These people are in power all because of stolen elections that are actually tearing American society apart. Let's call it for what it is, because that's what it actually is. And I want you guys to take a video breaking down how taxpayers, you, I, everybody that's watching this, are actually funding left-leaning groups. So I don't want my money going to left-leaning groups. I would love my money just to, stay in America, stay local, help people close to me, right? Not go overseas, not go to the Middle East, not go to Europe, not go to Africa. And then maybe 10 cents stays here in America. A little crumb here. Here you go. Maybe we can get a Tic Tac for that. There you go. But play this video here. This was interesting. Cut 6.
Hi. How's it going? I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Sorry to bother you.
Oh, no worries.
My name is Jameson. My team and I are in the neighborhood fighting to protect immigrant rights. So it's something you care about?
No.
And no is the only appropriate response when these people show up at your door. Apparently, Democrats have a whole network of NGOs that do this kind of work. They go door to door, canvassing to gather people's information for illegal immigrants' rights. Here are some of the names of some of those organizations. They go to people's doors and talk about immigrants' rights. They identify their supporters. Then they collect their contact info for petition signatures to actually change our laws. They also get donations from these people. So the truth of the matter is we are paying for this with our tax dollars. These are Democrat NGOs that have been laundered our money to send these people to people's doors to actually gather contact information and signatures so that they can change our laws to support illegals.
So yeah, she's there. Do you care about immigrants' rights? Yes. Great. Got your name. Thank you. Have a good day. Now that goes into the database. Now they have an ally to go to when they need a ballot initiative passed, fundraising, safe house for illegal immigrants. Boom, just like that. And we're funding it. Our tax money gets put into Congress. Congress then, oh, NGO this, NGO that. And we're funding this. We are funding all of this. Wow, that's infuriating. I love the guy's answer, though. Do you care about immigrants? No, I don't. And yeah, you're right. You shouldn't. At this point, we shouldn't. We should only be caring about what's going on from. How about veterans? Do we care about veterans' rights? Do we think no veterans illegal? Do we think a house for every veteran is a human right? Because I do. That should be a human right. You serve this country, you should walk away from your military service with a house and a piece of property. Thank you for your service. There you go. Instead, how are our veterans treated? Discharged, no integration back in. Some of them become addicts, alcohol, can't find job, have trouble reacclimating to society because of the stresses they had to endure, putting their lives on the line to promote our freedom. What happens to them? Come back with PTSD, can't hold down a job because their minds are wired and they're not getting help from the VA. Oh, because there's no funding for you. I'm sorry. The well's dry. Muhammad, and your 7 wives, come. NGO, illegal immigrants, come. That's the reality. Our leaders do that. It's not that hard to cut off the faucet. It's not that hard to redirect the funds. It's really not. And if it's really that hard, but you're dead set about doing it, make it a public issue. Stand on it every day. But they don't, because they don't care. The ones that they say are the most best among us are the ones they spit on to cash their check. No veteran should be illegal. No veteran should be homeless. No veteran should not have immediate medical care when needed. End of story this day and age in 2026. You have people signing up freely to give up their life for this country, and they get back home and they're treated like shit. I'm not saying they should not have to work when they get home or anything like that, but I'm talking about just basic human care because they signed up to do something for us because they love this country. But the people that are getting the most benefit are the people that hate us the most and come here to take from us, and then we hold them up like they're sacred. We have fallen a long way in 250 years. And it's not natural. It's not natural. People don't naturally view their heritage this way. They're programmed to feel this way. And that's because the school system has been taken over. The colleges first, then down to the secondary eds. The colleges got taken over. You indoctrinated the wave of teachers, best specifically white female liberal teachers. And then you boomerang them back down into the education field post-graduation, and there that cycle began, and now K-12 has been taken over. The whole gamut. The whole gamut. But on the bright side, we talked about the 2A amendment yesterday, the Second Amendment here, and the attack on it out here in Colorado, that the Colorado state legislature is pretty much tacking on anywhere between $400 to $600 new in fees and taxes to possess a magazine discharged firearm. And basically the sheriffs are in charge of enforcing the law. Well, we have one sheriff out here in Colorado from Montezuma County that says, and that's Sheriff Stephen Nowlin. He announces he will not enforce the new gun legislation out here. And he gives a pretty good reason why, citing funding, staffing, and constitutional concerns. Senate Bill 25-003, which took effect August 1, adds new requirements for purchasing certain semi-automatic firearms, including obtaining a 5-year eligibility card from a local sheriff's office and completing an in-person safety course. As a Colorado sheriff and every member of the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office, each of us has sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Colorado, and perform the duties of the office of sheriff in Colorado by protecting those rights for all citizens in Montezuma County, Nowlin said in a news release. He also said that the new law does not provide funding for the additional personnel and administrative work needed to process eligibility cards. Additionally, he questioned the law's requirement that prospective buyers complete firearm safety training, arguing that hunter education has historically been tied to hunting and trapping, not firearm purchases. So yeah, this sheriff from Montezuma County standing up and saying, come and get it. So great job by him. Need more people like that to stand up here. I wonder if Arapahoe County is going to follow Douglas County. Are they going to issue public statements? Or are they just going to say nothing and not do it, right? Because it means more if you publicly come out and say it at this point. All right, state legislature, you're passing this. You're telling me this is my job. Yeah, no. You're violating the Constitution. You want to do this? Let's do it then. All right. I would love to see the push come to shove. And I am not belittling Montezuma County whatsoever, but he's going to need more weight behind him for it to get national attention. Denver County Sheriff, maybe, if you got some gonads. Arapahoe County, Adams 12, anybody, Jeff Co., Doug Co., or maybe you come out as a coalition and make a joint statement. That'd be fun to watch, because enough's enough. And especially with the crime in this state, and the fact that the judges in the state don't hold criminals accountable, and the state legislature actually supports the lessening of penalties for child sex offenders, yeah, everyone should have an AR out here in this state, because that's the only way you're going to protect yourself. 30 minutes response time for police to respond to their own parking lot, and then you're going to want to restrict my rights of owning an AR and make me pay $600 more in fees and make sure I do X, Y, and Z, all while you are making the state less safe? And you're telling me they're not purposely doing all this? You're telling me this isn't engineered? It's all engineered. It's all purposely being done because these people don't give a damn about the American people or the American way of life or the American right to defend themselves or the American right to have freedom of speech or practice Christianity. Because it's an outright war on all of it. And they're openly talking about it now and celebrating it. So yeah, we didn't cover this yesterday, but we're going to talk a little bit about it today. Fires breaking out in Washington, right? If you've been out west, I'm sure you've been seeing the amber colors of the sky. You've seen the kind of reddish, auburnish burn of the sun. You've probably been smelling it. Well, it's coming from Spokane. Big fires are going out. Whole neighborhoods have been wiped off. It kind of looks very eerily familiar to the LA fires. And then you had the governor of Washington come out yesterday, Governor Inslee, and he had to let everyone know what caused the fires. So let Governor Inslee talk about it.
He had to evacuate because of these massive fires in Spokane County. The whole state's under threat now. Climate change. You know, climate change isn't some existential global thing. It's our neighbors. It's our friends. We had to fight for them.
So yeah, global warming caused all this. Well, newsflash, it wasn't actual global warming that caused it. It seems that they just arrested an arson suspect. Let's put up that post. And there it is. Yesterday, Governor Inslee said the fire in Spokane was from climate change. An arson suspect was just arrested. The arson suspect that was arrested is by the name of Aaron Farinacci, a 37-year-old resident of Spokane, Washington. Farinacci was arrested on August 3rd and charged with first-degree arson for allegedly setting the Old Trails fire, the largest of 3 severe wildfires burning in Spokane County. How was he identified? Well, witnesses reported seeing Farinacci standing by the side of the road and kneeling in the grass near where the fire originated. When law enforcement detained him, he was found with waterproof matches and a butane lighter. Prior record, authorities noted that he had a prior 2012 conviction for manslaughter in Arizona. Current status, he's being held on $1 million bond. So, but the Dems never miss a chance to push a narrative. They never miss a chance. Forest fire, climate change, not arson, because, you know, it is very natural because it's so hot for spontaneous fires just to converse on a clear day. Very natural for all that to happen. Very natural for all that. No, this dude set it on fire. But once again, it doesn't matter because they need to promote the climate change and then to go green, right? Another way to put the millstone on the chest to squeeze the American soul a little bit more because they want the fossil fuels. They want the oil, they want the gas gone. They want it to be green energy, windmills, solar energy, all that stuff. Right? So you needed climate change, fire, climate change. No, asshole starting fires. And I wonder if he's a leftist. I wonder if he's a leftist. So yeah, all that's going on. And I want to play this video now. This is by far, I'm sure you probably have seen this video. If not, you got a real treat. You got a real treat. But this is by far the best video on the internet. Let's play it.
Come up to hate and say, oh, put your bag away, bro. Put your bag away. I told him if he wants to go to the hospital, come here. It is over. Hey. You. Hey. Not my girl. You. Not my girls, right? You're not talking about my girls, right? I don't care. Don't do that, dude. Don't do that. What are you gonna do? Go ahead. Just go. What are you gonna do? Don, go ahead. Am I? I didn't put him in the ground. Let's go, bro. Go ahead. I'm good. Let him have it. I'll just say Mike, all right, good. It's over. It's over. He's a child. Let's go. Oh, chair thrower.
Wake up. Yeah. What you out, Holly boy? Yeah? Trey, stay right here. You done? You done? Huh? You done?
So that is by far the best video on the internet today. And to make it even better, the person that got knocked out in that video is Kirill Basin, and he's a Democratic candidate running for the 2nd congressional district in Hawaii during the 2026 cycle. I think it's safe to say he just ended his political career with that. But yeah, that's the best 2-minute video on the internet today. If you have time to share that or find that, I recommend you do. But yeah, you got to find the bright spots in a time where it's engineered misery all over the place. You got to find funny stuff like that to laugh at. Because if you don't laugh, you don't take time to breathe, you don't take time to step away, you're going to go crazy. And I talked about earlier, so I know we're distracted, we get food, we get football, we have the sad part is too, we actually need the circus. We need the entertainment factor for a little bit. Because you do need to disconnect. Because when you step back and realize just how rotten and how captured of a nation we are, it's maddening. It's maddening to see what's going on in our country and to know that this stuff can be easily fixed if we just eliminated special interest and foreign interest and just put Americans first. It's really quite simple to fix all of it. There may be some hurt feelings, and yeah, so what? So what? They're crushing our spirit. They're hurting our families. They're hurting our feelings. For what? It's time we have to put it back to where it is. Okay? I don't care about their feelings. I don't care about ours. But at the end of the day, we're fighting for this country. And it's not going to happen to me. It's going to be what we're leaving our children. And what people need to realize, what are they doing? And how are they leaving this world for their children? Oh, I want to make it a kinder, safer place. Oh, okay. What does that look like? Does kinder, safer look like what? What does it look like? Can you actually say what it looks like to you? I know what kinder, safer looks like to me, and it's not what I see today. It's not what I see today. So yeah, what are you doing for what are you doing for the future of this country? What are you doing for the younger generations coming? Right? I've taken up my fight. I'm doing basically everything I can do. And not everyone is going to have a lawsuit to try and file and fight for their rights. You're not. I get that. But there's other ways to fight. Like we said, connect with people, get online, build your little coalition, brainstorm with people, and then take local action. That's the best you could do. That's the best you do, because the problems up top are too big for us to fight by ourselves. We could shed light on it. We could put pressure on it. But at the end of the day, the powers that be are going to operate as they're going to operate, and we have no control over that whatsoever. And if you haven't gotten the memo yet, it is abundantly clear. Americans are not the priority. Can't pass the SAVE Act, can't hold criminals accountable. Got to tax the hell out of you. Got to talk about taking more from you. And then after we're done taking more from you, we got to make sure we take more from you after you die. So you can't leave it to your kids, because we don't want your kids to actually have your wealth. We want it for ourselves and our families. And we want your child to be hooked on us. So we're going to make sure we're going to hook your child on us by taking all the wealth that you ever accumulated in your life before you die. We're going to take a good portion of that too. And we're right to do that because, you know, people hide it from us. No kidding, you're going to hide money from people that are telling you, I'm going to take it from you. Like, what do you say? You want your fair share? Okay. How much is your fair share? Oh, you guys see how much I make first. Got it. Got it. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. But they don't care. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're looking to fundamentally change the American way of life. We're going to resist it at all costs. Eventually, push is going to come to shove. Rubber's going to meet the road. And I'm going to be very curious what that's going to look like. If you haven't been paying attention, what happened with the Morocco migrants crossing into Ceuta in Spain, the Spanish citizens picked up their stuff and started fighting and beating the African migrants in the street. It's going back and forth. And by the way, they're not African migrants. They're mainly Islamic migrants coming in, but Morocco's part of Africa, but they're majority Islamic. They're coming in through the border. And basically what wound up happening there is you have civil conflict. Watch that. See how that revs up. And then think about where we might be in 2-3 years from now if things don't get fixed and fixed quickly. Oof. Well, thank you guys for staying with me today. I appreciate it. This was not expected. I thought we were going to have Halsey English on today. We rescheduled him for later in the week, though. Everything got handled behind the scenes as this kind of just broke at like 2:02 p.m. Mountain Standard Time today. But thank you all for your patience. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And yeah, just got to smile when you can, because you have no control over the engineered misery that's being portrayed on us. But what you can control is your reaction to it. And with that, I'm going to pray us out. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to sit in this chair and talk to the audience and share the message. Thank you, Lord, for my beautiful family. Thank you, Lord, my kids starting preschool yesterday and me finishing a full year working here. Thank you for the connections I've made and the good people that I now get to see every day and have crossed into my life and my family's life. Thank you, Lord, for the many blessings and providing a pathway forward when I didn't see one for a long time. And thank you, Lord, for America First Legal, as they're fighting for me and they're fighting for all teachers and the First Amendment in my case. So I thank you, Lord, for providing me their representation and their wisdom and their backing, because this is you need a lot of funds to fight evil, Lord. So I thank you. I thank you for all of that. And I thank you for my life. I thank you for every step I have taken. I thank you for every hurdle you've put in front of me, Lord, because without all of that, I would not be where I am today. And I don't know if I'll be able to do what I'm doing today if I didn't have all of that. So thank you, Lord, for that, because I am happy at who I am and I'm proud of who I am. And I'm hoping to show that to my kid. So thank you for all that, Lord. Love you, Grandma, Grandpa, Dad. Amen. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, comments. I learned that I need to start an age-denying, smoking, chilling Amish community. That's not bad. Amish people are healthy. They're hardworking. They don't steal. It's not a bad idea. The Amish got it going on. The Amish got it going on. Still ride around in the horse and buggy. You know, what was funny, though, I did see some over the summer up where I was staying, and they were actually using debit cards. I didn't know they were allowed to do that. I swear, they were at the self-checkout at Walmart. I didn't know they were allowed to do that stuff, but I did see it on my travels during the summer. Excuse me. Oh, all righty. Other than that, thank you guys for... Thank you, Kristen Dahl. He is not in public school right now. We are in a pre-K that is not aligned with the public schools. How long that's going to last, I don't know, but we're going to try and figure it out. Yeah, but thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, everyone. Joe should be out of traffic and be on air tomorrow. I believe so. Either way, we'll have another banger. We have a great guest. I believe two, actually, now. I believe we have two great guests tomorrow. I believe Halsey got rescheduled for tomorrow, and I believe Casey's on for tomorrow also. So we got some cool guests joining us. So make sure you tune in. And other than that, everyone, class dismissed.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah. Forever strong, play it again all night long. Truth forever. True forever.